Welcome to This Week in Football, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Wayne Rooney's career. To start, he was born on October 24th, 1985 in Liverpool. He grew up as an Everton fan. At age 9, he was scouted by Liverpool, but he showed up in an Everton kit. Some of the Everton scouts heard of this and invited him to their own showcase. Because he supported Everton, he leaped at this opportunity, and in his book he even admitted that, as a kid, he felt like the environment was better at Everton just because he supported them. Later, his two younger brothers would also join the Everton youth programs, but they would never reach the success of Wayne. He excelled in the youth squads. In the 1995-96 season, he scored 114 goals in 29 games for Everton's U10s and U11s. But by the time he was 15, he was playing with the under-19s and scored 8 goals in as many matches during their run to the FA Cup Youth Final in 2002. It was that same summer when Rooney scored his first senior goal for Everton in their pre-season tour in Austria. He made his full Premier League debut on November 17, 2002, against Tottenham, where he provided an assist in the 2-2 draw. His first senior-level goals came in the form of a brace against Wrexham in the second round of the League Cup. And at age 16 and 360 days, Rooney scored his first Premier League goal, a late winner against Arsenal that saw the end of the Gunners' 30-game unbeaten streak. Following the game, Arsene Wenger remarked that Rooney is the biggest England talent that he's seen arrived in England. He certainly is better than any under-20 player that I've seen since I've become a manager here. He was at the time the youngest goal scorer in Premier League history, but was surpassed the same year by James Milner on Boxing Day, and later by his fellow Evertonian forward James Vaughan in 2005. In December of 2002, Rooney received the BBC Young Sports Personality of the Year award, and the next month signed for his first professional contract, which made him one of the highest-paid teenagers in the world. Rooney finished his debut season with 8 goals in 37 appearances, with 6 of the goals coming from Premier League fixtures. He continued to perform in his following season for Everton, netting 9 times in 40 appearances. In the beginning of the 03-04 season, Rooney was called up to the England team by Sven-Göran Eriksson, and on a friendly match against Australia on the 12th of February 2003, at 17 years and 111 days, he became the youngest player in English national team history. He would continue breaking records when on September 7th that same year he would score against Macedonia in a Euro 2004 qualifying match, making him the youngest ever England goal scorer at 17 years and 317 days. He would play in the 2004 Euros and go on to score 4 goals across the 3 group stage matches. Rooney would go on to say that his brace against Sweden was his best ever performance for England, and ultimately, this would prove to be his most successful time for England at the international tournament. Much as it is typical of the England national team, his World Cup and Euro performances would be marked with disappointment. At the end of his second professional season, Rooney handed in a transfer request, even with a £50,000 per week offer on the table to stay at Everton. A £20 million offer was rejected from Newcastle, but at the end of August 2004, a £25.6 million bid was accepted from Manchester United. At the time, he became the most expensive teenager, him still only being 18 years old. To put this into perspective, just the year before, Cristiano Ronaldo joined the Red Devils for half the price. There were many critics, and the move was seen as very risky. However, Rooney silenced his skeptics with a brilliant debut performance in the Champions League. He scored a hat-trick and provided an assist in a 6-2 rout over Fenerbahce. Although his first season at United would result with no major success at the club level, his 11 goals, the most of any Red Devil that season, resulted in him being awarded the PFA Young Player of the Year award. In the following 05-06 season, Rooney would have a successful year with 16 goals, but after a metatarsal injury in a vital loss to Chelsea, Manchester United would finish second best behind the Blues. This injury would plague Rooney and the England national team in the 2006 World Cup. Rooney was rushed back into the team and never seemed to be back at full fitness. He would go scoreless in the tournament and get a red card in the second half of the quarter-final against Portugal. His Manchester United teammate at the time famously confronted Rooney for the tackle and then winked to the bench when Rooney was sent off. Rooney would finally seek success at the club level in his third season with Manchester United. He would go on to score 23 goals across all competitions that season, which included a Champions League run that ended in the semi-finals at the hands of AC Milan. However, most importantly, Manchester United would win the league with 89 points. This would start a 3-year run for Manchester United, where they were one of the best club teams in the world. However, one of the most interesting moments in Rooney's career came this season when he took on Everton at Goodison Park. He was booed by the Everton fans, who felt betrayed by the promise of his infamous once a blue, always a blue t-shirt. Manchester United were trailing by 2 goals well into the second half of the match. However, the Red Devils climbed back, and just before the 80th minute, Rooney scored the winning goal of the match to make it 3-2, and kissed the Manchester United badge in front of his boyhood club. His relationship with Everton would prove to be interesting throughout his career. The 07-08 season would prove to be more successful than last, but not only did United win the Premier League, but they bested Chelsea in the first ever All-English Champions League final. On a personal level, he was given the respected number 10 shirt, which was last worn by Ruud van Nistelrooy. Also, Rooney suffered 2 injuries throughout the season, including the same metatarsal injury from 2004. This being said, he still racked up 43 appearances and 18 goals, with 27 and 12 in the Premier League respectively. The following season, United would lose to Zenit St. Petersburg in the UEFA Super Cup. However, Rooney would put on a terrific display in the FIFA Club World Cup, and after scoring the winning goal in the final, be awarded with the Golden Ball as the best player of the tournament. Manchester United would once again qualify for the Champions League final, but fall 2-0 to Barcelona. In the league, Rooney would once again score 12 goals and pick up his 3rd Premier League medal. In addition to the winner's medal, Rooney became the youngest player to reach 200 Premier League appearances. The 2009-10 season would prove to be one of Rooney's best personal seasons and be the start of 3 years of brilliance. The season began with the Community Shield, where Rooney scored in the 90th minute to level the scores, but Chelsea came out as champions after the penalty kicks. Then, on August 20th, 2009, with a brace against Wigan, Rooney became the 20th player to reach 100 United goals. Rooney scored a hat-trick early on in the season and then hit in all 4 goals in a 4-0 win over Hull. And on the final day in January 2010, Wayne scored his 100th Premier League goal against Arsenal. Interestingly, his first Premier League goal, nearly 8 years before, also came against Arsenal. United suffered a quarter-final exit against Bayern in the Champions League because of slight ligament damage and a re-aggravation of the injury in the second leg. With 34 goals in 44 games, Rooney was voted as the 2010 PFA Players' Player of the Year. He hoped to take this form into the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. However, England showed a pitiful display and were booed off the field by their own supporters, and would be knocked out of the second round by Germany. Rooney would go scoreless in the tournament, typical of his and his England's troubles in international competitions. Although off the back of the terrific season, Rooney's 2010-11 season started with speculation. He had a major dispute with Sir Alex Ferguson, who had shifted him to the bench. Fergie suggested that it was because of his ankle injury, but Rooney contested that, and many reports came out that he wanted to move. It was then official when he came out with a statement saying that he wished to leave the club, not based on money but on ambition. However, in a turn of events, he signed a 5-year deal that would keep him at the Theatre of Dreams until 2015. He only scored 11 Premier League goals that season, but included in this was his infamous 78th minute bicycle kick winning goal against Manchester City. To this day, Rooney says that this was the best goal of his career, and Sir Alex Ferguson claims this was the best goal ever scored at Old Trafford. He completed his 5th Premier League hat-trick and joined Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes as the only players to score 100 Premier League goals for Manchester United. He also helped achieve United's record 19th domestic title, a 9-point lead over second-place Chelsea. The following season, Rooney repeated his form from 2 seasons before, repeating his goal tally of 34, but with 1 less match played. In late August, Rooney scored his 150th goal for United, the first of a hat-trick, helping to defeat Arsenal 8-2. On the 10th of September, Rooney scored another hat-trick in a 5-0 away win against Bolton Wanderers, becoming only the 4th player in Premier League history to score a hat-trick in consecutive games. On the 18th of October, he surpassed Paul Scholes as the highest-scoring Englishman in the Champions League, and on the final day of the season, Rooney thought that he had clinched the title with his free-kick goal against Sunderland, but because of Aguero's 94th-minute heroics, he was ripped of his 5th Premier League title. Rooney once again boasted a high-scoring year before entering an international tournament. However, in the final qualifying game, he received a red card against Montenegro and was banned from the first 2 group stage matches. He scored the winning goal in the final group stage match against Ukraine. However, England were defeated by Italy in typical fashion, in a penalty shootout which was highlighted by Pirlo's ice-cold Panenka. The 2012-13 season saw Manchester United leapfrog City to claim the title. However, Rooney saw much of his playing time cut from new signing Robin van Persie. The two combined for over 42 goals that campaign, but at the conclusion of the season, Rooney formally handed in a transfer request. This season also marked the end of Sir Alex Ferguson's reign as United manager, with former Everton boss David Moyes taking charge. The beginning of the next season saw Moyes reject selling Rooney amid serious speculations from Chelsea and interest shown from Arsenal, PSG, and Real Madrid. At this point in his career, and to fit with Robin Van Persie, Rooney began to drop back as more of a center forward. He performed brilliantly in this position, ending the season as United's top scorer and assister in the league with 17 and 10 respectively. He also had the most assists in the Champions League that season with 8. In the Champions League, he scored his 200th club goal, and in the league, he scored his 150th club goal. By the end of the season, he became the club's third highest goal scorer of all time, with 212 goals. The 2014 World Cup was one of the most disappointing performances by the English national team. They were knocked out in the group stage after a 0-0 draw with Costa Rica. However, Rooney would score his first ever World Cup goal in a 2-1 loss against Uruguay. But at the end of the tournament, he was heavily criticized for his poor performances. His next 2 seasons would be tainted by the failure of Manchester United and the ineptitude of Moyes and Louis van Gaal as Ferguson replacements. In the 14-15 season, he was made captain with the departure of Vidic, but now had been almost fully converted to a midfielder by Louis van Gaal. This saw his goal counts for the season drop for the next 3 seasons. Ending this season with 12, he surpassed Thierry Henry as the third highest Premier League goal scorer of all time. In the 15-16 season, Rooney struggled with an 878-minute goalless drought. Although with less goals, he broke numerous goal records. He surpassed Andy Cole's 187 Premier League goals to be only behind Alan Shearer. And after scoring his 238th United goal, he was only short of Bobby Charlton's 249 goals for the club. Also, he passed Henry's record of 176 Premier League goals for a single club, with a winning goal at Anfield. At the international level, on the 8th of September 2015, Rooney broke Charlton's England scoring record, netting his 50th international goal from a penalty in a Euro 2016 qualifying match against Switzerland. The 2016 Euros was Rooney's first major international tournament as England captain. Despite scoring the first goal, England was knocked out 2-1 by the major underdogs Iceland in the quarterfinals. This would be Rooney's final international tournament with England, as he would later snub Gareth Southgate for dropping him from the team in the World Cup qualifiers. The 16-17 season was Rooney's final season at Manchester United. This was his lowest scoring season of his career with only 8 goals, but it was not marked without success. He became the third player to reach 100 Premier League assists, and with 39 goals, he broke Ruud van Nistelrooy's title as Manchester United leading goal scorer in European competitions. On the 21st of January 2017, Rooney finally surpassed Charlton to become the outright leading goal scorer for Manchester United. This was after scoring his 250th goal for the club, an equalizing free kick against Stoke City. On the 23rd of August 2017, Rooney would officially retire from the England national team, but would play one more game on November 19, 2018, in the Wayne Rooney Foundation International against the US. He came on in the 58th minute in the eventual 3-0 win. Wayne Rooney would officially end his international career with 120 games and 53 goals. This makes him England's highest goal scorer of all time and England's most capped outfield player. During the summer, Rooney would leave on a free transfer and return to his boyhood club Everton on a 2-year deal. He started the season extremely well and scored on his debut, and on August 19th he scored his 200th Premier League goal. However, his most impressive display came in a 4-0 victory over West Ham, where he scored his first Everton hat-trick, his third goal being a first-time 60-yard half volley that beat Joe Hart in net. He would break 10 Premier League goals this season and ultimately finish his Premier League career with 491 appearances in which he scored 208 times and assisted 103. After his second stint with Everton, he agreed to join DC United and wear the number 9 shirt. After just 3 appearances, he was awarded the captain's armband. He injected life into the struggling DC United franchise. This can be perfectly shown by his last-ditch tackle in his own half before lifting the ball into the box for a game-winning goal in extra time. See the link in the description for the video. To finish the 2018 campaign, he was named DC's MVP and their Golden Boot winner with 12 goals. In the current 2019 season with DC United, Rooney has managed 8 goals in 14 appearances and broke 300 career club goals. Wayne Rooney has had a brilliant career and will go down as one of the best strikers and English players in history. It was his terrific climb as a teenager at Everton United that made him stand out and his consistent form in the Premier League. However, it seemed that his body aged quickly as he departed England's top flight in his early 30s. It was almost as if his body was a few years older than he was, allowing for his early success and his late struggles. However, at the age of 33, he has much to provide to the MLS and will forever be known as the great Wayne Rooney. For more videos like this, please subscribe to This Week in Football. and turn on the bell notifications to be notified when a new video comes out. Also, down below, leave a comment for any player that you want me to analyze and do a career in focus for. This has been Wayne Rooney's Career in Focus.